Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna be reading all of John Green's books. I know there's a thing that people say that all of John Green's books are the exact same. They just like follow different characters, but I'm gonna put that to the test and see if like, no, the five including Looking for Alaska, young adult novels are like the same. Are they just cut from the same blueprint? The books that we're gonna be reading are Turtles All the Way Down, The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, The Abundance of Katherines, also Looking for Alaska, I don't have that physical copy, and then the Anthropocene reviews, and I think these are just like a bunch of like different essays. Also, I'm gonna rank all of John Green's books. I know John Green was all the rage in like 2014, 2016 with The Fault in Our Stars and just like those like coming of age Tumblr novels, because that's where I know The Fault in Our Stars from. I've read The Fault in Our Stars. I remember in probably like 6th grade, I was like, I read it. Probably just skimmed it. I don't remember. I probably fell asleep while reading it. I'm gonna leave The Fault in Our Stars for last. I feel like this is gonna be, because I just know that one's like a heavy hitter. I think I want to start with Turtles All the Way Down. I think I've read the synopsis for these two, and I haven't really heard much about like this one specifically, but I read the synopsis and it was like a road trip, and I'm not like the biggest road trip plot person. I think there's a mystery element in this one. Thank you for my roomie, because she has been here to supply all of the John Green books, and I'm gonna start out with Turtles All the Way Down. I don't think I'm gonna read these all in like sequential order, so I think this video would take longer than I expect. I just don't want to get burnt out from John Green and give him like bad reviews, because I'm burnt out of his writing. So this is what we're starting with, Turtles All the Way Down, and we're gonna leave the John Green book for last. Hi guys, it's the next day, and I have my updates for Turtles All the Way Down. This is the one I started. 114 pages in, which is around 40%. There's less than 300 pages. It's fine. I feel like something I noticed from the first page is the amount of M dashes this man has used. I feel like he uses an M dash every 1.5 pages. Like, it is astronomical that he's using so many M dashes. Just describe something in a different way. I don't know, just do something else. I honestly feel like these characters are so juvenile. I don't know, maybe it's like him being like a 35+ year old man. Is that a generalization? Okay, he's 47. Okay. I don't know if this is him as like a 40-year-old man while he's writing this, like not knowing what kids do, but these kids feel so juvenile. They're juniors in high school. The first scene where they're like eating lunch, I was like, oh my god, these kids are like in middle school. Like this, I'm thinking like 14, like 8th grade, like about to be in high school. No, these kids are 16, 17 years old. I was like, there's no way. Okay, so basically we follow Asa, and she has a best friend named Daisy. In their town, a billionaire, like astronomically rich, super uber mega rich, like he has like exotic animals in his backyard, and he like hires like zookeepers to take care of it. That's the level of rich we're at. He is getting in trouble for like something, and he goes on the run. He's missing, and then the police are trying to find him. So there's that, and then he leaves behind like his sons, and apparently Asa, she was like acquaintances and like kind of knew the older son, and so like that's where we're going for. And then Asa and Daisy want the reward money of trying to find out where the rich billionaire is at. So yeah, that's the whole thing. We're just trying to find out where this uber rich billionaire is. I feel like it's whatever right now. I feel like he's trying to make the best friend Daisy a little too quirky. All for John Green, right, and teenage kids, but like I'm just like, okay, whatever. I do want to figure out where this like mystery is gonna go. I want to see like how that unfolds, but it's like fine right now. It's like 3-star territory. I'm gonna go shower, then I'm gonna read more before bed, and then I'll come to you with my thoughts about Turtles All the Way Down, and then we'll go to our next John Green book. I think I do want to hop into another John Green book right after this one. Hi guys, I'm back after not reading a John Green book. I read Turtles All the Way Down, and then I took a break and I read a different book because I didn't want to read another John Green book. And I'm gonna read Paper Towns. I consulted Rumi. Her favorite out of the ones that she's read in the pile, she really liked Turtles All the Way Down and then An Abundance of Katherine. Since Paper Towns and Abundance of Katherines are both like road trip books, and I asked her which one she liked better because their road trip books. She said she liked An Abundance of Katherines better. So I'm gonna read this book first. This one is about Quentin Jacobson and Margot Roth Spiegelman. He's trying to find this like enigma of a girl. Just head up to you that this is the book that we're reading. I'm so cold. Okay, yeah, okay, bye. Last night I finished Paper Towns by John Green. I don't know why I'm saying by John Green. Like all these books that I'm reading are by John Green. I think I'm giving it a 3. I was teetering on like a 3.25 because one thing about this, like I don't know why I always like thought he was like writing teen girl head, but he's not. This is a boy main character, and so we follow Quentin, and it literally says that in the back, but like he's in his senior year of high school, and then one day his childhood best friend and like neighbor Margot Roth Spiegelman, and then she's like, we gotta do something, like I need to like come with me and like let's do something. So they go on like this like one night out, like just doing a bunch of like they're not pranks, but it's kind of like revenge things, and just like say they do that, and then Quentin's like in love with Margot. He's been in love with her for like years, and so they like kind of drifted apart as childhood best friends, and she's like one of the popular kids in high school. He's just longing for Margot. After their night out, the next day at school, Quentin's like, where's Margot? Everyone's like, Margot's gone, like the police are involved, and he's just like, oh my god, I have to find Margot. And she's done this before, so like everyone's like, yeah, she sometimes leaves clues, and so he finds these clues and tries to find Margot along with his friends. I feel like his friends are very boy. His friends are just boys, and I'm just like, okay. Keep in mind, this was written in like 2008, so during that like era of like boy, like high school boy, yeah, and it kind of does reflect it. I don't know, I feel like it hasn't aged badly, but like there's some parts that are like, why'd you do that? Honestly, contrary to like what I was thinking, I really liked like the road trip aspect of this book. There was a section of like, there's just no way that these clues are actually like, they like lead somewhere, and I feel like it was so like serendipitous. It was like, oh my god, wow, like it suddenly hit me, and it was a lot of that. I hate Margot, and I don't understand why Quentin is so obsessed with Margot. He is like so obsessed, and his friends pointed out too, and I like, okay, everyone had their faults when it came to like the fights in here, and like I could really see it, but like I was like annoyed with literally Quentin, Margot, his best friend Ben. Like I was really annoyed with like a lot of people in this book, but like I feel like Quentin was so like dead set on finding Margot, and I was just like I understand it, but like I don't understand it at the same time, and so that's why it's getting a 3. Also, Margot was just annoying. Margot was annoying. I'm so sorry, Margot, but I'm not sorry. I didn't like her. I didn't like her. This is a 3 stars. This one was Turtles All the Way Down was also a 3 stars. I feel like the plot in this one was dragging compared to this one. I feel like this plot was like, I don't know, it felt like funner to, is that a word, funner? There are some parts in dragged in this one. I feel like those were like glossed over really quickly. And like since there was so many more characters in this one that you got to like follow along, bigger like personalities, I would say that this one was better, in my opinion, than Turtles All the Way Down. I liked the friend group in this one better than I liked the friend group in this one. I liked one specific character in this one better than like probably all the characters in this one, but there's that. I also liked, I don't know, I liked the plot in this one. I like the mystery clues, even though they were so like how did that like work out? But like, yeah, but they're both 3 stars in my eyes. Middle line books, like they're not the worst, they're not the best. So I think I'm gonna read Looking for Alaska next. We don't have a physical copy of that, so I've downloaded it on my Kindle. I thought it was set in Alaska because duh, it says Alaska. The main character, the girl's name is Alaska. Those are my updates on the John Green book so far. I fear that we're never gonna leave 3-star territory. Like I fear that's gonna be the case, but who knows? I have 3 more actual novels before I get to like his collection of like essays. I finished Looking for Alaska last night. That book, not to rank already, that's my favorite John Green book thus far in this video. Only read 3. I think I'm giving that like a 3.75. I've not like settled on it. One thing that always like irks me about John Green books is the fact that I know he's a grown man writing about teenagers' bodies like that, And that's just like, I feel like that's for everybody, but like knowing that John Green is writing that, it like puts me for a loop for a second, and I'm just like, whoa. But then I go back, I keep reading, and it's whatever. One thing I've noticed about John Green's books, I think Looking for Alaska is the oldest one I've read so far. His writing's just fine. Like, it's not life-changing, it's not anything crazy. I think sometimes the storyline can really drag on, and it's like, these books are so short for them to do that. You know what I mean? And so maybe it's just because like sometimes I'm not as connected to the characters. One way that this book, Looking for Alaska specifically, dragged on a little bit was he already makes you empathize with the characters already, and then he does like a sob story with like a whole like chapter of like just like sob session, and like it does like tie in. I feel like he only did that for this one morsel of information to like come out and to like really make it all connect in the end. But like I didn't need to hear their sob stories. I mean, it was nice, like it was fine, but I didn't need that more to empathize with them, and so I felt like that dragged on, and like some of the sequences dragged on a little bit. Why did I say sequences? This is not a film. It was good. This book reminds me of Dead Poets Society. I feel like that's where he got his inspiration from. This gave so much Dead Poets Society, but with not a just boys boarding school. So we follow our main character Miles, a new student at this Alabama boarding school. He knows about like these like grand pranks that happen there. He goes there, he's roped in with like a new group of friends, and he's never really had friends like that. I think that was really sweet. But then keep in mind, his friends are boys, and so it has like gross teenage boy that John Green's writing. He meets Chip, and then he meets Alaska, and those two are like the most like main characters other than Miles. There's a before and then there's an after, and so like I didn't really know what to expect. This one, it was just like the beginning of it was just like pranks there at the boarding school, and it was like fun to like follow along and like kind of like see him like progress in this boarding school like atmosphere. And so I really liked that. I liked Miles as the character. Yeah, I really liked all the characters. I could really empathize with all of them. This book specifically didn't feel like, oh my god, I'm in like a young adult coming of age novel like Paper Towns. Paper Towns was the epitome of coming of age young adult novel, but this one, it did get me, shed some tears. I just don't like gross teenage boy mind, and so that's why it's not a 4 stars, I'm not gonna lie. That's like the only thing that's really holding me back. And like I think the messaging in this book was like my favorite so far, and I liked the plot, and I liked the scenes, and like the characters, and I liked the setting in this book the most, and so I don't think anything will top this one, I'm not gonna lie. I'll see you guys when I have some updates for the next John Green book that I'm gonna read, and we're almost done with this video. Not really, but still, that's all the John Green updates I have. Hi guys, long time no talk. I took like a week-long break of reading John Green books. I read a different book, and it took me a whole week to read that book, but I started another John Green book last night. I started An Abundance of Katherines. This is really short. I think it's like 215. I'm like 70 pages in. I'm hoping I can finish it tonight. Plot of the story is that our main character, Colin, he has dated 19 girls named Catherine. Him and his friend go on a road trip to like kind of like get out of his funk after he was just broken up with by the 19th Catherine. Colin's like, he's like washed up. Does that mean? He's like a washed up child prodigy, and he's like, I don't know what to do with my life. Like, I'm not famous. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just basically a normal guy that's just smart now. So he's kind of like having that identity crisis, and he has a best friend, Hassan. I think it's Hassan. I'm saying it's Hassan, like Hassan Piker. It could be Hassan, but him and his friend Hassan are going on a road trip to get him out of his funk. They get to the town that they're at. Colin is on a mission to prove the theorem of underlying Catherine predictability, which he hopes will predict the future of any relationship and average dumpies everywhere, and may finally win him the girl. I don't care. I just don't care. I just don't care about Colin. I don't care about his Catherine problem. I don't care about him being a washed up child prodigy. Hassan's fine. Like, he's just whatever. I don't care about any of them. I don't care about the person that they've met so far. And that's it. That's my thoughts right now. I'm 70 pages in, which is around 30% in because it's such a short book, but just don't care. I'm thinking that my favorite will continue to be, what was it even called? Looking for Alaska, which is something I didn't expect. So this one took me a while to like pick up. It was during that night I was like planning to read this, and I was like, do I even want to read this right now? Like, do I even feel like it? Answer was no, but it's fine. I'm reading it. I'm back. I did end up finishing An Abundance of Katherines. I think this is my least favorite. I think this is my least favorite. John Green's books have like, there's always a big theme of friendship that I found out. Okay, so Colin and Hassan is the main friendship in the book. And so Colin and Hassan, I liked their friendship. I think they were good friends. I think they understood each other the most. And by each other, I think Hassan understood Colin the most out of all the friends in all of the books so far. In like Turtles All the Way Down. Aza and Daisy, they kind of clashed a lot in terms of friendship. They never really, I know, like they could recognize that they're different, but they never really truly understood the differences and stuff like that until the very end, when like the friendship always like has like a big fight in the book. In Paper Towns, Quentin and his friends clashed, but like there was one mediator friend that like kind of like kept the group together basically. Their friendship was like stereotypical like boy high school friendship that I would say, and so like those like kind of fall on, and so like they prioritize different things, and this one really focuses on like the different priorities at a like more like trivial level than I would say like Turtles All the Way Down. They just didn't understand like why they cared about one certain aspect of their friendship, but in Turtles All the Way Down it was like more like, oh, they don't really understand the mind. Daisy never really understood the extent of Aza's like OCD and anxiety and stuff like that, and then Aza was just like kind of brushing off the fact that Daisy was poor, and she never really understood the level of poor that she was, because Aza is like she's middle class. Aza just was, since she was so stuck in her own head, she couldn't put a focus on other people because she was so involved with herself, and that's not in a bad way. Looking for Alaska, I think that friendship, it felt so different than all the other friendships, because we're seeing Miles become friends with somebody like in real time in the book, and so like that friendship was like, I think that friendship was like the most fun to read about, because they just really don't know each other, and I just think that one was the best book so far. Back to An Abundance of Katherines. This book, the Hassan and Colin's friendship was fine. I didn't really care. I just don't care about Colin. I do not care about Colin and his revelation and his theorem and like his eureka moment. I just do not care. I just didn't care. I thought Colin was just like whatever, and I was like, honestly, not my cup of tea. I was so close to DNFing it. Like it's just so short that it's like there's no need to DNF it, but like there was just like a need, because I just didn't care. I would say I like Colin and Hassan's friendship, and that's the only thing I cared about. Following on Colin was like kind of a bore. Like those little moments of friendship were like fun to read about. So I think I'm giving this 2 stars. Don't care about his revelations. Don't care about like the message of the book, whatever. Like I just do not care. There was like a thing that like, hey, like happened, and I was like, oh my god, that's actually kind of crazy. Just like the way that like I wasn't thinking of that, but it was just like a whatever book to me, like truly whatever. So this is the lowest book we have so far. This is a 2-star. Paper Towns and Turtles All the Way Down were both 3 stars, and then Looking for Alaska was 3.75 stars. We haven't reached the 4-star realm yet. I don't think anything's gonna beat Looking for Alaska, so that's where we are in like the hunt, in the swimming of John Green books right now. I just don't think they're for me. I'm not gonna lie. They're mediocre at best. And that's not like anything like I read mediocre books all the time. It's just probably gonna read some like essays from Anthropocene Reviewed. I'm just scared that this is gonna feel like I'm doing my anthropology homework from like my first semester of freshman year. So I don't know if that's gonna like hinder any experience. This is just not centered. Hi guys, back to the John Green books. I'm reading the Anthropocene Reviewed. This is a nonfiction collection of essays, and I thought this was gonna be a lot more academic than it is. And this one's just like him like thinking of things in our lives, and then he's just reviewing things that like are inherently human, like, and then reviewing them at the end of the essay that he like writes about that topic. I'm liking it. I'm 60 pages in. I've gotten like through a couple of them. I've read 9 essays so far. They're really quick and easy. I don't know when I'm gonna read Fault in Our Stars. I'm enjoying the Anthropocene Review. I'm just reading another book in tandem with that, so I'm not like really focusing on the Anthropocene Review. So it's not like a narrative novel and like fiction. So I feel like I don't have to like be as absorbed into that thing, because every topic is new and like it's a different essay and stuff like that. So I'm reading other books in tandem with that. So there's my update for the Anthropocene Reviewed and my 5th John Green book. So I think by the end of this reading vlog, John Green will be my most read author of this year, which is kind of insane. There's that.
Of eating one amid the clamor of Coney Island.
I'm gonna be brief with it. I finished the Anthropocene Reviewed. I don't know. I'm not rating it. I don't know how to rate nonfiction. So I'm just not rating nonfiction. This is like nonfiction essay memoir type of thing. Like, it's just like, it is so personal to John Green, and he adds so many of his own life experiences and his journey through life that it doesn't feel right to rate a memoir or anything like that. But it also like provides insight and like really like dives into like specific events and like topics. So it is like typical like nonfiction essay in that part. I think he writes better in this book than he writes in Turtles All the Way Down, which is his latest novel as of this book. I don't know if there's any, I don't think there's any more. I think that's just like the latest one. I enjoyed this one miles more than Turtles All the Way Down. The 5 books of John Green's that I've read so far, I have one more. I have Fault in Our Stars, and that better make me cry. I don't think it will, but like maybe it will. Like this made me cry. Closing thoughts is the last 2 sentences of his postscript. What an astonishment to breathe on this breathing planet. What a blessing to be loving Earth. That's basically what the book's about, basically. I think it's a nice read. I don't think it's like pretty mandatory at all. If like you love John Green, then read the book. It's a book, and I'll think about the topics that he talks about, but like it's not like, ooh, she's in here forever. But yeah, you know what I mean? It was an enjoyable read. I liked it. I think this is his best writing I've seen so far. So there's that. Hi guys. I'm trying to be fast because I'm about to go somewhere. Oh no! And it's finally time. I need to get on with it, so I'm gonna start The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna try to finish it tonight. There's 313 pages. I know what happens. The font's really big. It's YA writing. I think I'm gonna finish it tonight. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna. Maybe it's really ambitious for me to think that, but I'm gonna really try. And yeah. Hi guys! I finally finished all the John Green books. He is officially my most read author this year because I read 6 of his books in this reading vlog. Took me maybe 2 months, maybe a month and a half, because I think I started this early September. Actually, I have no concept of time, so don't ever ask me, but I've read and finished my last John Green book, which was Fault in Our Stars. I did like that frantic clip of me like, oh, I really want to finish this and read this in one day. I put that thing into my head. I was like, I need to start and finish this in one day. And she did it. She did it. I think I got to page 196 at like 8, and then we put up our Christmas tree. I finished the rest of it last night, and you saw me finish it. For Fault in Our Stars, okay, I don't think it's the most fair rating I've ever done in my life because I know what happens. I've watched the movie. I've read this like years ago. If I didn't know anything about this book, I do think I would have really enjoyed it. I feel like if I was reading this for the first time in that like 2014, 2013, 2012 like Tumblr mindset, I think it would have been really good. I think it handles grief really well. I don't know, like just the things that these characters have to go through is so hard to like even imagine. So I think John Green put it in a perfect way. He talked about this in one of his other books, like I think the Anthropocene Reviewed, and he just felt so grateful that this book has reached so many other people and people have expressed to him how much his books and like the subject matter that he talks about in his books have helped them. And I can't fault anybody be like, oh yeah, I didn't care for the book, but if it really hits you, it hits you. Like it's very, I don't know, you know what I mean? His books, I do think they get a little bit too much hate. Not hate in like the way that it's like hate. It's more like, oh my god, ironic hate, like these books are all the same, talking about the same things, and I don't think that's necessarily true. And so during my time and my experiment and going to like explore the question of like, are these books all the same plots? And I would say the only ones that are like that are Paper Towns and The Abundance of Katherines. I think these are the 2 least strong books in my opinion in my ranking of each John Green book that I read, except for Will Grayson, which is with another author, and I'm just not doing it, sorry. Number 6 out of 6, which is The Abundance of Katherines. This one's my least favorite, 2 stars. I just didn't really care about Colin. I don't like him. I don't like anything about him. I liked his friend Hassan, but I just didn't really like the humor. It was just very like boy humor. I think The Abundance of Katherines is his least strongest book. I think it's in terms of subject matter, characters, plot, I think it's the worst. And not like the worst by like, ooh, this is like a hate read that you should read. It's not my favorite, and I would skip it when talking about all of John Green's books and like recommending them. It lacked a lot. I think it lacked in plot. I think it lacked in like what makes John Green's books his books to me. And then I go on to the one that's closest in nature to it, that like it feels like this is just a more polished up version of this book, which was Paper Towns. I gave this one a 3 stars. Very pretty like whatever to me. I didn't like the characters a lot of the time in this book. I don't think I liked a single one of them. I think the plot was like, it was fun and engaging, and it was like, it was also so wholly unrealistic because it is just like that classic coming of age YA novel that you're like, oh my god, like he does it for the atmosphere. He doesn't do it for like rational thought, especially for like something that happened in this book where Quentin was like, oh my god, I have to find Margot, and he's finding all these clues set by her. 3 stars. It was pretty mediocre, and that I would recommend it if you want to read John Green's book. It was a fine time. So I think those two are the most similar in like stuff that they talk about, because I feel like these ones don't go into depth into like the mental health as much as these other books, so those are pretty just like whatever to me. Next is Turtles All the Way Down. This is his newest YA fiction novel that came out in like 2018. It just didn't really hit for me. This does talk about extreme mental health, and I think that is so important to read about, and it was just like so eye-opening to see a different perspective of mental health that I don't really like think about, and I think it was just like, I think it was well executed. One thing I just don't really care about, I think the plot really lacked. I expected, especially if you go in with the synopsis, I expected something different, and maybe that's because I put like my expectations up. I didn't really care about like the side characters at all, and I think that's what really just didn't really like wow me, because John Green's books have such a core theme of friendship in his books, and I don't think this one hit at all. Like I didn't care about the friends, and that's it. That's all I have to say. I think our main character Aza was good. The book was fine. I'm giving it 3 stars. It was just whatever to me. I recommend it. So 3 stars, like I would recommend it type of rating. So we follow our main character Aza, and she has OCD and anxiety, and it just talks about her time and how she deals with it, everything that comes with it. And then she's also trying to figure out what happened to this one millionaire, billionaire type of guy in her town that has disappeared and left his family behind. So yeah, there's that. Next, I would say The Fault in Our Stars. It was good for what it was. Not the best at all. 3 stars again. But I do think these felt different, and I don't think they're the same blueprint. You guys know The Fault in Our Stars, but basically we start with our main character Hazel Grace, and she goes to a support group for people, I think, who have cancer. She meets this guy named Augustus Waters, and they become friends. The topic in here of grief, health, and sickness and everything like that is prominent in this, like it's duh. I don't think I cared. I'm not saying that in a mean way. I just don't think I really cared. If I read this at a different point in my life, I would have liked it more. For number 2, I would put Looking for Alaska. I gave this one 3.75 stars. It was my favorite. Miles, he goes to a boarding school. He meets some friends, and it talks about what he does at the boarding school and the events before and after something big happens in his life at the school. So really enjoyed it. It gave very fall atmospheric vibes that I love, and it just made me think about Dead Poet Society a lot. So loved it. I think I grew to care about those side characters and the characters within that book other than the main character the most. I think Miles becoming friends with somebody, like becoming friends with all these people at his boarding school, I think the plot didn't lack, especially in this boarding school setting, which is like kind of like boring, I would say, because like yeah, these kids are just going to school, but like it's more than that, and it ties in really well, and I enjoyed it. I think that's my favorite young adult John Green book. Next, my favorite I would say is Anthropocene Reviewed. I'm not giving a star rating, but I think the way John Green delivered everything in the audiobook specifically, I think it really led me to appreciate it a lot more. So I just really liked it. This is a memoir essay type of deal where John Green's just like inherently talking about things that are so human and how our world is shaped around humans in this geologic time period we're in called the Anthropocene. And so I feel like it was so personal to him, and he just added so many of his like personal like anecdotes and everything like that, and like stuff he struggles with, things he loves, things he hates, and it's just like it was a nice eye-opening book. If you can get your hands on the audiobook, I would really recommend you listen to the audiobook. So a part of here made me cry. Like it was so sad. I was like, holy smokes, that is tragic. Like I was so sad. So I really enjoyed this one as well. I'd recommend this one. Yeah, that's my favorite one. And those are all the John Green books. Those are all his books that I read. I read them. I did it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I put myself through this for you. This took like 2.5 months of my life away, but I did it. I did it. I can definitively say that I've read all of John Green's books, and they're fine. They're fine. They're not the worst, and he doesn't deserve as much like, ooh, I can't, John Green's books are all the same, blah, 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 blah. They're not, except for 2 of them. So there's that. There's that, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sticking around and waiting for this video for so long, because I've teased it so much, but it took me a while to read the books, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!